We live in an age where every moment demands an audience. People photograph their meals, record their emotions, and broadcast their lives as if existence itself needs applause to be real. Hearts have turned into screens, refreshing, comparing, waiting. Every like feels like love, every comment, validation. But my friend, this is the greatest illusion of our time. True worth isn't measured by followers or fame. Your value isn't found in hearts, views, or shares. It's in the quiet truth that God sees you, even when no one else does. His gaze isn't fleeting. It doesn't scroll past. While the world celebrates noise, God whispers in silence. You don't need to be seen to have meaning. Some of the most powerful growth happens in hidden places, when you're alone, praying, thinking, becoming. The applause of people fades, but the recognition of heaven endures forever. So if no one noticed your post today, remember, your Creator did. If you feel unseen, you're not forgotten. God hides His treasures not to punish them, but to protect them until they're ready to shine. Stop chasing attention, start seeking purpose. Stop performing, start living. Because the real stage is not on your screen, it's inside your soul. If these words touch you, if they remind you of what truly matters, don't just scroll away. Take a breath. Reflect. And if you want more messages that wake your spirit and bring peace to your heart, subscribe. You don't need more noise. You need truth. And that's what you'll find here. Light for your soul in a world addicted to attention. Follow not for me, but for what reminds you who you really are.
In a world that never stops talking, silence has become sacred. True moments, the ones that shape the soul, don't happen in the spotlight. They happen when you are alone, sitting quietly with your thoughts, your breath, and your Creator. It's there, away from the noise, that real strength begins to grow. God never asked for popularity. He asked for wholeness. He doesn't measure your worth by how many people notice you, but by how deeply your spirit stands when no one does. The world chases visibility, but heaven values depth. Strength is not the volume of your voice. It's the stillness of your heart when everything around you demands noise. Many people shine brightly on the outside, yet fade within. They trade peace for applause, truth for attention. Every like becomes a counterfeit form of love. Every comment, a substitute for faith. But a soul that feeds only on validation soon starves of meaning. Real power is quiet. It does not need to announce itself. It's found in those who can be unseen and yet remain unshaken, in those who choose honesty over approval, purpose over popularity. Silence, when filled with presence, becomes the loudest form of strength. The world says, show more, speak louder, be noticed. God says, be still and know that I am here. It is in that stillness where you discover who you truly are, not the version built for others, but the one that stands before eternity. In the end, your light doesn't come from being admired. It comes from being aligned with truth, with peace, with the quiet power that lives within you. Strength is born in silence, and silence is where the soul becomes whole.
There are seasons in life when you feel unseen, when no one notices your effort, your growth, or your faith. You try, yet the world is silent. Doors close, opportunities vanish, and it feels as if you've been forgotten. But what if invisibility isn't a curse, but a calling? When God hides you, it's never punishment, it's protection. He draws you away from noise and eyes that aren't ready to see your purpose. You're not buried, you're planted. and roots grow only in the dark. In silence, your soul learns to rely not on applause, but on grace. God uses quiet seasons to prepare you for storms you can't yet see. The unseen time is sacred. It's where faith matures, patience deepens, and strength takes shape. While the world measures success by how visible you are, heaven measures it by how deep you've grown. Every delay has a divine reason, not to deny you, but to define you. Even Jesus spent 30 years in silence before 3 years of ministry, 30 years of being hidden, learning, growing, becoming, before stepping into the light that would change history. If the Son of God embraced obscurity, why should we fear it? So when nothing seems to move, remember, stillness is not stagnation. God hides you to strengthen what no one sees, your roots, your faith, your character. Because if you grow too fast, the first wind of fame could break you. The hidden season is not the end of your story. It's the foundation of it. What feels like isolation is actually preparation. You are not forgotten. You are being formed. And when the time is right, what was once unseen will stand unshakable. One of the most dangerous addictions in our time is the addiction to approval. We crave to be seen, to be praised, to be validated. Every like, every compliment feels like proof that we matter. But when your worth depends on applause, you become a prisoner to the noise of others. God sometimes takes away your audience, not to punish you, but to teach you where true strength comes from. He wants you to stand, not because others support you, but because your roots are anchored in faith. Real faith is not about being admired. It's about remaining steady when no one claps, when no one notices, when no one understands. Applause fades. Faith endures. Recognition can lift your ego, but faithfulness strengthens your soul. It's easy to believe when you're celebrated. It's sacred to believe when you're alone. Think of David. He was anointed to be king, yet he spent years tending sheep in obscurity. No stage, no audience, no applause, only silence and responsibility. But it was there, in the solitude of the field, that God shaped his heart for the throne. Before he held a crown, he learned to hold faith. Sometimes God hides you behind the scenes to test your loyalty. Will you serve him, even when no one sees? Will you keep walking when the path brings no recognition? True greatness doesn't need to be noticed. It needs to be consistent. God values endurance over exposure, faithfulness over fame. When you stop needing the world's approval, you begin to walk in divine strength. Because your worth isn't proven by who applauds you. It's revealed by who you remain when the applause is gone.
You were never meant to be a copy. God didn't design you to fit into someone else's pattern or to live for the approval of the crowd. You were created with a unique voice, a specific purpose, and a journey that won't always make sense to others. And that's okay. Faith isn't about being understood. When you live by faith, you begin to see that not everyone will understand your choices, your silence, or your direction. Some will question your path. Others will doubt your vision. But faith isn't about convincing people. It's about trusting God even when no one else sees what you see. Faith purifies motives. It removes the need for applause, the hunger for recognition, the fear of judgment. You stop doing things for a reaction and start doing them for truth. The applause of men can lift you for a moment, but the purpose of God sustains you forever. The world celebrates noise, trends, and visibility, but God works in depth,
meaning, and transformation. He doesn't use those who crave fame. He uses those who seek purpose. The ones who walk in quiet conviction, who stay faithful even when misunderstood. So if you feel unseen, misjudged, or out of place, don't let it shake you. You're not meant to be understood by everyone. You're meant to be guided by faith. And sometimes, walking with God means walking alone for a while. Because the truth is this: being misunderstood by people often means you're aligned with something greater than them. If these words speak to your soul, if you're tired of chasing approval and ready to walk in truth, subscribe. Stay with messages that remind you you weren't made to impress the world, but to impact it through faith.
There are moments when everything you've built begins to crumble. Plans collapse, relationships fade, and the stability you once trusted disappears. It feels like an ending, but what if it's not destruction at all? What if it's cleansing? God doesn't break things to destroy them. He breaks them to rebuild them on something pure. Every collapse is an invitation to examine what your life was truly standing on. If your foundation was built on pride, fear, or dependence on others, it cannot last, because those things were never meant to hold the weight of your soul. When God allows things to fall apart, it's not cruelty, it's mercy. He removes what is false so that what's real can stand. He takes away what you thought you needed to show you what you actually need: faith, humility, and truth. Falling is not failure. It is a return to the ground where your roots can grow deeper. The breaking exposes what's fragile, but it also awakens what's strong. Through loss, you discover endurance. Through silence, you find wisdom. Through emptiness, you meet peace. Every fall is a teacher. It strips away illusions, pride, and pretense until only the essential remains. You become quieter, humbler, wiser, not because life became easier, but because you learned what truly matters. When life collapses, remember this: God is not ending your story. He's editing it. What feels like ruin is often renovation. You are not being buried. You are being refined. So let what must fall, fall. Don't cling to walls that were never meant to last. The ground beneath your feet is being cleared, not to leave you empty, but to make space for something truer, stronger, and eternal.
Pain is one of life's greatest teachers, not because it feels good, but because it transforms what comfort never could. When everything you depended on begins to fall apart, it's easy to believe you've been cursed or abandoned. But loss is not a curse. It is the beginning of renewal. God doesn't fix the old. He creates the new. He doesn't patch what's broken. He reshapes it into something stronger, purer, more alive. When familiar things fade away, the plans, the people, the certainties, what remains is the only thing that truly matters: faith. Faith is the anchor that holds when everything else is stripped away. It's what whispers, there is still meaning, even when there's no visible reason to believe. Pain has a way of burning away everything superficial, leaving behind the raw truth of who you are and who God is. It's not punishment, it's birth. Just as a child enters the world through pain, new life within you emerges through struggle. Transformation always comes with breaking, stretching, and surrender. The greater the pain, the deeper the purpose waiting beneath it. When you walk through sorrow, don't rush to escape it. Sit with it. Listen to what it's revealing. Pain often carries messages that joy cannot speak, about strength, about surrender, about faith. One day, you will look back and realize that what felt like the end was actually the moment you began again. What you lost made room for what was meant to be. So when life hurts, remember,
Pain is not God's rejection. It's his creation process. Through every tear and every silence, he is shaping the new you, stronger, wiser, and more whole than before.
Faith is not a feeling, it's a motion. It doesn't thrive in comfort or hesitation. It breathes only when you move. Too often, people wait for clarity before taking a step, for confidence before beginning, for a sign before trusting. But faith doesn't work that way. Faith is what happens when you move without seeing the whole road. God doesn't hand out maps. He gives directions one step at a time. The path doesn't appear while you're standing still. It unfolds as you walk. The moment you take that trembling step, the next stone appears beneath your feet. Don't wait for the perfect conditions. They will never come. Don't wait until you feel ready. You may never feel ready. Faith isn't about being fearless. It's about walking despite the fear. Even shaky steps are holy when taken in trust. The miracle is not in the outcome, it's in the movement. Confidence doesn't arrive before the action, it grows during it. Every time you dare to act on faith, you prove to yourself and to God that you believe in something greater than your doubt. Abraham didn't know where he was going, but he walked. Peter stepped out of the boat before the water felt solid. Every great act of faith begins with uncertainty and continues with obedience. When you move, heaven moves with you. When you take one step forward, unseen doors begin to open. Stillness can be sacred, but stagnation is not. Faith that never acts remains only an idea. Faith that moves becomes a force. So keep walking, even when your voice trembles and your knees shake, because faith doesn't need you to be sure, it only needs you to begin.
There are seasons when heaven feels silent, when prayers seem unanswered, when signs fade, and when the presence you once felt so clearly becomes distant. It's easy to mistake that silence for absence, but God's silence is never emptiness, it is work. When God is quiet, He is not ignoring you, He is shaping you. He speaks through circumstances, through pauses, through the very stillness that tests your patience. His silence reveals what words cannot, who you are when the noise is gone, and what still lives inside when everything external falls away. We often want immediate answers, visible direction, and constant reassurance. But faith grows in the waiting. Maturity is forged in the unseen spaces, in the moments when you must trust without evidence. God's silence isn't rejection, it's refinement. He uses quiet seasons to deepen your roots, to stretch your endurance, and to strengthen your foundation. Just as seeds grow in darkness before breaking through the soil, your spirit develops in hidden places before it blooms in light. Every crisis is an invitation to growth. The question is not, why is this happening, but what is this shaping within me? You don't grow through perfection. You grow through perseverance. The strong are not those who never fall. They are those who rise after every fall, carrying new wisdom, new humility, and new strength. Each moment of silence becomes a tool in God's hands, chiseling away what is false to reveal what is real. So when heaven feels quiet, don't assume you've been forgotten. The silence of God is not a void. It's the workshop of transformation. Something is being built within you that words could never explain.
There is a truth many of us struggle to accept. You cannot heal yourself without God. You were not the author of your life. And no matter how much effort you pour into fixing what's broken,
Some things require the hands of the Creator. Your mind, your heart, your soul, they were formed by Him, and only He can restore them completely. God restores what has been shattered, not instantly, but in ways far greater than you could imagine. He doesn't simply put the pieces back together. He rebuilds them stronger, wiser, and more beautiful than before. The ruins of your life are not the end. They are the foundation. From brokenness, He constructs something enduring, sacred, and full of purpose. Starting over is not a sign of failure. It is a sign of growth, courage, and willingness to trust beyond what you can see. Every ending in your life is an opportunity to let God work, to let Him transform your pain into wisdom, your losses into lessons, your fears into faith. God never leaves you in ruins. He doesn't abandon the broken or the weary. Instead, He builds a temple from your trials, a sanctuary of strength, resilience, and divine purpose. The cracks in your past become the channels for His light, illuminating the path forward in ways you couldn't have achieved alone. If you are feeling broken, lost, or uncertain today, remember this: healing is not in your hands, but it is happening. God is at work, reshaping your life from the inside out. If this message resonates with you and you want more guidance and inspiration to strengthen your faith and trust in God's work in your life, subscribe. Let's walk together in the journey of restoration, learning to see ruins not as endings, but as the beginnings of something extraordinary. With God, every broken piece can become a masterpiece.